All right, what's happening, my freaks? It's Monk Silk on the mic, and let me tell you, recording a podcast hard, really hard. I've had to stop and start more times than I'd like. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna give up? You're gonna not record it? You're gonna grab a gun and shoot yourself in the head? No, you're gonna delete and record it again. And here's where we're at. And I've been wondering where to start. And maybe we start right at what's important. Kyle Tucker, Bichette, the big fish. Who are they going to sign? Neither, both, one. Those are actually the only options. So I've always leaned Kyle Tucker. I can't help it. Shiny new toy, left-handed bat. I said it in a little thread. I'm certain the Blue Jays have wanted a good left-handed bat that does not need platooning. I don't think it's crazy to think that. They haven't had one. Dalton Varsho, he's there to go catch the ball, starts against a lefty, you're fine with it. Andres Jimenez, same thing. You're not expecting production offensively. But Kyle Tucker, you can expect a good offensive output against left-handed pitchers. And, you kind of look back at past Blue Jays teams and, they were super right-handed. And I get it. That's kind of the ascent, right? The ascent is just grab anything that could be good and just see what shakes out. They tried to have lefties. Derek Fisher, Billy McKinney. Maybe they weren't trying that hard. Rowdy Tellez, they give it a shot. Why not? But I mean, he's kind of lower on the depth chart behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So that was tough. So they were just accumulating good. They were hoping whatever. Let's just get there, and that's how they ended up with so many right-handed hitters. I think they're a smart front office. I think many have done the look into optimal lineups, optimal, handedness. Because, you think about it. If a pitcher only has to really pitch to a couple parts of the zone, and they don't have to cover more places than they're able to, it's going to perhaps be an easier time. Maybe you're facing a pitcher that really struggles executing where you're weak, but there's some that might get the best of you just because you have a weakness that is similar through too many batters, even if they're all good hitters. And I think that's been the progression, right? They had their right-handed hitters, and then they kept searching for lefties. I mean, they did the Corey Dickerson trade, even though they had so many outfielders, and they've just been searching. And here might be the time to finally get a lefty that is platoon-proof. He's been that throughout his career. And it might be what the lineup's missing. I mean, this lineup, it has just general good right-handed hitters. They usually succeed top of the zone, contact guys, Alejandro Kirk, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They have some lefties who get balls low in the zone. That's, Dalton Varsho will mash your changeup, mash your splitter. Same thing, Addison Barger. But they don't have a lefty that kind of, who's a good hitter, that is in the middle of those two. Who knows? I haven't really looked at Kyle Tucker's heat map, spray chart. I know he's a very heavy pulled fly ball hitter. Doesn't strike out a lot. Having to play in Chicago for his walk year, that totally sucks. Totally blows. Like, obviously, they park adjust stats, but there are just going to be parks that even after park adjustment, you're just worse in. Isaac Paredes had an awful time in Wrigley. And he's not going to have an even weighted runs created plus from there to Houston. It's not going to work like that. And I feel bad. Lefties had such a tough time in Wrigley. And he should get out of there. He should come to Toronto. I think, what's the ceiling at? The sprint speed is average-ish. I think the defense plays better than his sprint speed for the most part. I've seen it. The hitter, it's almost the same walks to strikeouts. I should not explain Kyle Tucker to you. You guys have looked him up. But what could he be? Does he have a ceiling above a 140 weighted runs created plus? He showed that in a half year in 2024. What again, I'm not the half season guy. That's not me. We play 162. Your stats got to survive. You can't just show me a half year and say this is me. No. It's hard to play all those games. Look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s regular season before September and then after. Out in his playoffs, then they're good again. But there's that. Kyle Tucker. I've always leaned him over Bo. But he has, that's the warts. It's just, where's the actual ceiling at? He's not at least by public metrics, crazy bat speed guy, crazy barrels guy. He had a lower max exit velocity this year than Ernie Clement. Ernie Clement is not known for his exit velocity. So, I don't know, maybe he's such a high floor player, which is not bad, which would improve the team. The injury stuff is really scary, low key. Like he's had lower body stuff. He's had some freak stuff. He's had some fractures. Maybe it's that. I think he's more healthy than his counterpart of free agency. Because, they actually don't really have anything to make them counterparts. Except they're both from Florida, Bichette. Bichette, here's the thing. It's really boring to bring back players. Really boring. It doesn't feel like your team got any better. Even though it would improve the Blue Jays. Go to the Fangraphs depth charts. Go there, do it. Blue Jays are projected to be the second highest wins above replacement team in the majors right now. Of course, tons of teams haven't made their big moves. Jays have made some of their big moves. Perhaps their biggest move by contract. We don't know yet. Dylan Cease 210. But if you go look at the depth chart, you can go see position by position. And even though I like Kyle Tucker better, just for vibes, and also I believe he's going to put up more wins next year than Bo. But you go look, and there's a lot of infield and outfield 2-win spots, But the thing is, you add an outfielder named Kyle Tucker. You're moving Nathan Lucas to lower playing time. Maybe he's not. Who knows if you can count on Anthony Santander? Who knows if Anthony Santander is even better than Nathan Lucas at this point? That's a different conversation, not a great one. If you ask Steamer, they fully prefer Nathan Lucas. But you're just moving Nathan Lucas. You're asking the everyday infield against righties to be from third to first: Addison Barger, Andreas Jimenez, Ernie Clement, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, it worked for the most part in the playoffs. They did that a lot. They did that alignment. And I believe those guys do deserve to play every day, but it doesn't feel like a lot of safety net, you know? First off, someone gets injured. Is Davis Schneider going to be the regular second baseman? I think that's a tall task. I think they much prefer him in the outfield. They've kind of shown that. That is what scares me. Maybe they go out an infielder too. I'd like them to, because if it's not Bo, they'll need, is it a Willie Castro? Is it somebody that makes me feel a little more confident? Because I, for the most part, believe in Addison Barger against righties. And I think as long as he's taken half a Xanax before every game, he can play a good third base. When he slows the game down, he has the defensive tools to make it happen. But what if he fails? I mean, you could say that about a lot of guys, but he doesn't really have floor. Ernie Clement has floor. Andreas Jimenez has floor. You're fine with those two playing because they're going to provide value even when they're not hitting. Addison Barger could end up being a non-factor for the 2026 Blue Jays. And if you don't have a proper contingency plan, that's a little tough. Whereas if you had Bo, who would hopefully play second base, you really hope, because I love him not at short. It's so much better. But you add him, you put Ernie back to third, Barger's your outfield, or Nathan Lucas. You're dealing with a lot of better players move to the outfield, as well as Barger still being viable at third base. Especially, I don't believe there's a fall off coming for Ernie. I think Ernie's Ernie. I think he's, just below 100 weighted runs created plus with great defense. Like, that's going to happen. But there's a world where it's even worse. And there, you're, with Bo added, you're creating a ton of contingency plans where Kyle Tucker, you're just moving an outfielder to the bench. Bo, you're moving an infielder to the outfield. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm at with that. It's tough. Because what if Bo's a really good second baseman? He wouldn't have been the first shortstop to not be great at short and move to second and be really good there. It's just, his arm plays up there. He really struggled to moving to balls up the middle. Now there's really less up the middle if you're at second. I think he could be a really good second baseman. But he's got injury worries that are worse than Kyle Tucker. It's 2 years in a row for sure, ending the year on the injured list. Yes, he came back for the last series in the World Series of the playoffs. That is the World Series. Pedantic. But he has actual injuries that have kept him off the field, and he must have other things that have slowed his sprint speed down. I mean, it's really scary when the athletic things you do are dwindling. Now, that's not everything. It's not everything. But in your 20s to lose that much sprint speed, that's rough. And you just see it. It's not fake. It's not like oh, he's a really good base runner, though. He makes great cuts, running the bases. No, it's rough. But again, he's all floor. Like, could you see a Bo year where it's a 145 weighted runs created plus, something like that? I can't. I don't think he's ever going to get to enough power. Maybe he grows into some more. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Kyle Tucker, could you see a 150 weighted runs created plus in a full season? Maybe. I think I think he could get to higher highs as a hitter than Bo. I don't think that's crazy controversial. But I don't know. I don't know. Are there markets? It's a weird one. Bo, I don't know if it's just because we're a month behind in the offseason because we played in the playoffs for an extra month and we haven't been as dialed in. But holy crap. Like, what are the markets for either of these guys? Boston said, we're out of the Bo market unless it's lower. That's good. Kyle Tucker, the Dodgers are in at 3 or 4 years. So that means they're not in. And there's the New York teams, like there are teams that have money or have historically had money. But I don't know. I don't know. There's just funky stuff. There's just teams that pop up. Like, Corbin Burns went to Arizona. No one had that. No one really did Corbin Burns have as much of a market or less or equal or more than Kyle and Bo? I don't know. But the Phillies aren't going to sign either of them. I think the Mets are David Stearns has been handed the keys and he wants to make it his team. I don't think he wants to add guys who are a little bit lower athletically, sprint speed, all that stuff. He wants to, he's from the Brewers. He wants moving parts. He wants athletic guys. He was happy to let Pete Alonso go. If you got a team and I'm not seeing it, I don't know. But there's that. I'd be happy with either. I really doubt the both. There's always this looming idea of the business case. The business case for signing both. And yes, there is one. I'm not going to put it at 0. A lot of other teams are hypothetically trying to. It's hard to sign 2 top free agents while also signing Dylan Cease, who in his own right, top free agent. So it's a big ask. That's a good start to a pot. Look at that. We made it this far. Let's keep it rolling. There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, Robert Suarez signed today. I'm so glad he's not a Blue Jay. It's not a crazy price, but it's not one I like. I just don't trust guys coming from pitchers parks that have, just good peripherals, not great. Like, what's going to happen when you get to the real time? Like, the division of divisions, the division of choice, the AL East, the one that doesn't rest. So I'm happy about that. I would have done the Devin deal, but not heartbroken about that. Edwin Diaz, no, I mean, I'm so glad we don't have to spend actual money on the bullpen. Is Fairbanks good? I don't know. I mean, he added that cutter last part of the month. Like, I think he would be an improvement to this bullpen, but Taylor Rogers is super trendy right now. I don't care. Whatever. You all loved Adam Simber, right? Right? Look in the mirror. But I get it though. Like the bullpen might be the easiest place to grab wins. I mean, like you could. That's where there's not zeros offensively, but there are zeros in the bullpen that you can automatically throw a win and a half on top of. Not that I think they're going to be zeros. I think that they actually have usable depth to get through 162. I don't think they're going to find impact. I don't really like the idea of them trading stuff, especially when, I don't think there's a lot of, it feels like there's not a lot of teams that want to spend, but you got the Pete Alonso contract, which is, much more than what MLB trade rumors thought. Maybe 40 million, something like that over extra year, but, sum of money. Same with Kyle Schwarber, who got 20 or 30 more. Like, I feel like no one's spending, and then you see those contracts. And then, I'm percolating in my head. I'm like, are they jumping on guys who are top of the chart bat speed guys? Is that it? Are they happy to ride with those guys as they age rather than Alex Bregman, who, you're really scared of those tools kind of drying up? There's not a lot to fall from, right? He's not a bat speed guy. He makes it happen more with optimal directions, launch, blah, blah, blah. But I wonder if it's a bat speed thing. And, Kyle and Bo, both not big bat speed guys. But that, you think about that for an extra second and you go, oh, yeah, Pete Alonso was a free agent last year and didn't really have interest. Didn't have a lot of interest. But, I think like the draft pick, like, I don't know. Did the Orioles just need to give someone money? But is that all it took? But I mean, I don't know. They were still getting a lot of money, both. I don't know. I feel bad for Bregman because I don't think the Red Sox really want him back. Why would you? Why wouldn't you just sign the guy when he was a free agent last year? You're going to go back for when he's a year older and pay more? This is what I wonder sometimes, especially Bellinger's going to be interesting. Same kind of things happening. Like, he was a salary dump last year and nobody really wanted to take that money minus more than $5 million or less. No one took the full contract. Cubs had to give $5 million to the Yankees. Yes, he had an opt-out, weird stuff, no fun. But you could have taken that contract on for free. No teams did. And now you have to go pay him more than $100 million. But, like, these agents are good. Scott is making it happen. But, yeah, I don't think Bregman's going back to the Red Sox. I'm going to say that now. In fact, I was thinking about Bo, and when was the last free agent the Jays actually brought back? They let Ray walk, Stripling walked, Semien walked, Chapman walked. I don't know. It's one of those, like, yeah, it's probably really hard to align with Bo value-wise, but, like, if you really wanted to do it, if you were really a big Bo believer, you probably would have extended him. But I don't know. It's tough. Ooh, yeah. I don't remember the last guy they were forced to bring back, an aging Jose Bautista after 2016, but Jimmy was traded. They signed him back. I don't know. There's stuff to think about, like, especially with that. I mean, I don't know. Let's come back to where we started. We need an infielder. I don't know where to go if it's not Bo. I don't know I really don't like Willie Castro. I don't think Willie Castro can be a positive defender period at this point. I don't know. Like, I'd love for them to take a chance on someone. I mean, I was a big Jonathan India guy, even though the Royals seem like they're going to play him. And I wish he could play any bit of defense, but he can't. He would have been my fifth infielder, but he wasn't non-tendered. I don't know. Something to dive in. I don't know. I don't think they're getting both. It's very much easier just to bet against that because, duh. You really think they're going to sign arguably the two biggest position player contracts and the biggest pitcher contract in one free agent offseason? I know they went to the World Series. I know they got a lot of money. I don't think so. I don't think so, people. Yeah. I don't know. I got some notes. I mean, Bieber dead. Yeah. He loved the winning culture of being an injured player there. He had to come back. I don't know. I think you're fine even if he came to you a bit injured, giving him 112. I mean, another team definitely would have given him 112 with a bit of injury risk. I don't think, he pitched in the last game of the year, but there were some signs, when he didn't start game 2 of the ALDS, even though they might have known Trey's their best second best starting pitcher, I think they were planning a month ago on Shane Bieber starting game 2. But he didn't. He got moved back in the World Series for old man Max Scherzer, who threw some of the luckiest ball you ever seen. Ooh, that man gave up rockets. And they said, better option for us if we have to have a third pitcher start 2 games. Shane was a trooper, I guess. I think that's what you come away with that. Yeah, I mean, I'd love if he pitches the Max Scherzer innings from last year, regular season, with better quality. You got to be happy. Just think of it as them taking a chance. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he's in the opening day rotation. I have no clue. That was all my notes. I mean, is Scooble going to get traded? I would love to see him head out of the American League to my second favorite team, the National League. It's one of those things that, like, I said it to a couple people, but I remember there being rumblings of Soto being traded from the Padres, and I said, no way, that's the stupidest thing. They just traded for him. What are you doing? And he was traded. Kyle Tucker, like, homegrown Astro, they have some money. They're competing? Why would they do that? Traded. Scooble, same thing. It'd be really funny if he went to the Dodgers. I'd love to see the package. I think it could be a really interesting trade package. And I prefer interesting trade packages. Red Sox are being funny. I feel bad for Red Sox fans if I could, because I don't. They keep getting set up that they're about to get something amazing. Like, they thought they had Joe Ryan. Maybe they still get Cattell, but, like, now it seems like they're not going to, even though he's a great fit. I don't know. Craig Breslow. What a man. Sonny Gray. Number 2. Winter meeting sucked. Just kidding. They were lit. Woo! No. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm really hoping no trades. Really hoping no trades for the Jays. Even though a trade would entertain me, I don't think it's worth getting rid of the depth when you still got money you can make happen. I mean, they got a lot of lefty AAA outfielders, but that won't matter. What kind of trade are you thinking here, people? They don't have enough for Cattell. It would have to be Trey and Barger. Like, let's be real. If you had Cattell Marte on the Jays at his contract and you were trading with someone who were the not Jays but had the Jays roster, you would want Trey and Barger at a minimum. So I don't know, unless, their finances are really bad, they're really worried, they really want to recreate the Mookie Betts trade, like they're infatuated with all of your prospects. Leo Jimenez is a guy they think could just get right in at second base already for them. I don't know. Again, I said it. Brios is probably going nowhere. Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool to send him off? Come on. It's tough. He lost a whole mile per hour. In the end of last year, he's throwing 90. Way too much. 20 years ago, that's fine. It's 2025, brother. Let's get it together. Yeah, we'll see. Slow. But that's what the offseason's supposed to be. I don't agree with changing the offseason. What are you going to do for the rest of the month if everyone's done before December 15th, something like that? You got 2 months to cover and then spring training. Like, no, it's a slow burn where you just get stuff every day. You get Robert Suarez signing with Atlanta. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what's next. I hope it's good. But never kill yourself. I love you guys.